All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a 2v2 matchup. HawK and Arma going up against Cechi and Starbuck. Arma spawning as the, red orc off on the north-hand side. Meanwhile, HawK spawning as the red human. This is on Deja Vu. Starbuck spawning as the teal orc. And finally, Cechi spawning as the teal undead. 2v2 matchup because some of you guys asked for it, and we'll see if this game does not disappoint. A couple of semi-pro players here playing very well the past couple of weeks, and still great to see WarCraft 3 relevant here in 2024. All right, coming back around here, Arma opening things up, gonna get a war mill. There's that orc burrow, Altar of Storms. It looks like it will be Farseer and Headhunters coming across from the red orc. Meanwhile, most likely an archmage coming across from HawK. At least get to the at least 1 minute mark so we can start theory crafting some of these games here. Farseer archmage going up against a Farseer and Death Knight. Yep, Farseer and Death Knight. Now, how will these two teams with 4 players try and work with their teammates to win out in these battles? Early game strategies. Sometimes you try to put pressure on, sometimes you try to do your own thing. Either way, things do unfold and happen. Farseer already moving off to the north side here. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Farseer off to the north here, going after this Gnoll Brood creep camp. And there are a lot of Gnolls. Farseer is absorbing quite a bit of that damage, getting that Voodoo Lounge. Nothing that one healing salve will not be able to, take care of. Farseer continuing to battle it up here, trying to take down this Gnoll Poacher. Meanwhile, Death Knight already across the battlefield, and we are looking at HawK trying to repair this scout tower, keep it up and operational. A couple of peasants may end up getting taken down as the militia are, just trying to stay alive here. All right, a little bit of micro here. Arcane Tower, is it going to get repaired in time? It looks like the repairs are gonna be here in time, and there is that Arcane Tower going to feed back damage onto that Farseer already. Additional, peasants do need to be trained up. However, the Spirit Wolves will not last long compared to that Arcane Tower. Another peasant gets taken down. Resummoning of units here as Arma gets into the fight alongside HawK. Death Knight, Farseer trying to get in some damage. Meanwhile, Headhunter showing up on the party as we're looking at a couple of Death Coils. Cechi getting a couple of quick kills, trying to finish off some of those units, unable to get a deny. Forest Troll Shadow Priest was picked up by HawK, and now, Arcane Tower finishes off that last Spirit Wolf. HawK holding onto that Arcane Tower now should be able to, defend against any additional pressure here. Meanwhile, Spirit Wolf, is that Spirit Wolf going to get taken down to 16 hit points? It gets slashed in the back by a Rune Blade. Archmage sitting at level 2 with a Pendant of Energy and also a Mantle of Intelligence. Already early battles, already early strong items for HawK. That Mantle of Intelligence and that Pendant of Energy giving additional mana, a little bit of additional damage, and that does translate to more, water elementals over time. This farm also going to allow for training of Forest Troll Berserkers and additional Forest Troll Shadow Priests, as we're looking at the Farseer of Arma putting pressure into the center portion of the map. Cechi does have a Death Knight with one Crypt Fiend, but is not going to be able to do very much. Starbuck now retreating back. He's going to try and start the creeping game, as HawK already is at level 2 and inching closer, already at level 3 now, and may be able to set up an expo for himself if he chooses to. 31 over 36 supply. It looks like those peasants are going to, in fact, stay there to try and build up an expo. Meanwhile, Arma with a very strong army overall still. Who's going to get that last shot off onto all of these units? Remember, the Skeletal Orc Grunt is considered an undead unit, so the Death Knight of Cechi cannot Death Coil to get that last hit. A little bit of a weird situation to be in, as Arma sitting at level 2. Who's going to get that last hit off on that Death Knight here? That Skeletal Orc Grunt. Damage still poking across through. The Crypt Fiends do have more hit points than the Headhunters, and both sides are fighting their way through. There goes a Death Coil. There goes that there. and well, down goes a unit. All right, Cechi quickly loses the Death Knight, but hires up a Dark Ranger in its place as the units are retreating back. Meanwhile, we see one Headhunter battling up against a Peasant. The Peasant may actually be able to win out in this fight here because of the armor types. Meanwhile, the Headhunters are now being able to put pressure back on Cechi's fleeing Dark Ranger. Down to the south side here, Farseer sitting at level 2. Trying to, well, protect his own base, but HawK able to dive on in here and put pressure. This is triple water elementals. One water elemental may be coming down dead momentarily as HawK's unit is trying to retreat back. That is a lot of damage getting added up onto that Orc Burrow. Orc Burrow, massive repairs, and it looks as though it is going to be enough to take it down. All right, level 3 now on the Farseer, level 1 on the Tauren Chieftain, level 3 Farseer, level 2 Spirit Wolves, as the Farseer is looking to try and poke down some of these Headhunters, as there are still water elementals about here. Reinforcing footmen coming in from HawK. Meanwhile, off on the north side, Farseer Death Knight still coming in for a little bit of a battle as well. All right, 2 separate 1v1 games pretty much happening on the same map at the same time as the Tauren Chieftain makes its way over, perhaps to try and stomp and stun down that Archmage. All right, with some early wins by HawK and Arma, it feels like Cechi and Starbuck have now been able to get under their own footing and is now able to muster perhaps a little bit of a counterattack. The water elementals of HawK are retreating back here. Archmage suffering a lot more damage than perhaps he expected, but the Forest Troll Shadow Priest is providing all the necessary heals. Off to the north, Expo is already up and operational. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain trying to back away here. Death Knight, Dark Ranger gonna be, well, actually activating the creeps here, and we could see a potential creep jack going down as damage is racking up. Units are trying to fall back here. Is the Archmage gonna be able to get in front? No, it is not. At so low hit points, it doesn't really want to try and risk it. Meanwhile, Starbuck is getting to level 2 on that Tauren Chieftain for that endurance aura, movement speed in 2v2 matchups. So much more important, as oftentimes you need to get there to reinforce your opponent's position, or your partner's position, as your opponent is pressing in on them. All right. Coming across here, we're looking at trackers and additional shamans and units now putting in pressure again and again. There goes another shaman. Meanwhile, well, more poking coming across here. Cechi is getting pressured by Arma, but the Obsidian statue seems to be okay. No ensnares going down on it just quite yet. And the Dark Ranger and the Death Knight able to work together to clear out a relatively difficult creep camp right under the nose of Arma. Meanwhile, coming back around, water elementals. Are all these units going to get cleaned up here? Farseer, one chain lightning could be a lot of very dead units. There's one dead unit. There's another dead unit, as the water elemental is also down to 97 hit points. Are we going to perhaps be going into a battle here, turning back around, taking down the water elemental, taking down these units, as the Farseer gets away, forces a Scroll of Town Portal, taking down unit after unit, and getting to level 3 on that Tauren Chieftain. Cechi and Starbuck still working together here. A lot of the creep camps have been cleared out. Farseer, well, Scroll of Regenerate, not Scroll of Healing Salve, Scroll of Speed, and also that Clarity Potion getting trained up for plenty of mana. Meanwhile, the Orange Army of Cechi and Starbuck ready to put on pressure into Arma's main base here. We are at Fortress. We are going into a Shadow Hunter third, but that fast tech to tier 3, well, are you going to really be able to see the benefits of that fast tech to tier 3, or would you rather have additional units already out here on the battlefield? That is a potential problem, as we are now looking at mass headhunters and crypt fiends who are going to be a perfect challenge to those Kodo beasts. All right, Farseer, Tauren Chieftain, are we going to get in a good stomp here? Yes, we are. That is a good stomp on nearly half a dozen units, as Starbuck returns the favor with a level 2 stomp. Tauren Chieftain now trying to dive on in there, only gets a handful of stomps this time around, one time on a skeletal minion, as Starbuck's higher Tauren Chieftain able to get stuns wider and for longer. Kodo Beast able to dine and dash on a meal, didn't grab a Crypt Fiend, instead went for a Headhunter. Perhaps digesting a 375 Crypt Fiend is just that much faster. Healing Wave bouncing around. The Shadow Hunter of Arma still trying to push their way through. Units going to try and re-engage here as peons are pushing in on the battle. Starbuck sitting at 3 here. Archmage is sitting at level 4. Level 2 Brilliance Aura is helpful, but only if he's standing next to his partner's heroes. With only the Archmage The Tauren Chieftain and the Farseer didn't really get as much mana as needed. Meanwhile, Mountain King is now out here on the battlefield, and you'll better believe another Stormbolt could be coming. Are we going to see a slow cast? That is the question. Mountain King trying to catch up to that Tauren Chieftain. Stormbolt could be inbound. Going to be a little bit of time. There's the Stormbolt, and there's the damage. Shaman trying to not get in harm's way. Scroll of Town Portal getting transferred as the fight goes back to Arma's main base. Arma's main base, level 2 Death Knight, level 1 Dark Ranger, level 1 Lich, Berserker out here on the battlefield quickly getting cleaned up. Cechi and Starbuck doing a great job putting pressure inside Arma's base as we are trying to get more headhunters and eventually transition into Berserkers. All right, oddly enough, yeah. For some reason, yeah, just try to train. No reason to train headhunters when you have berserkers. Arma comes in with the stomp there, finishing off some more units. Both sides tipping back and forth. Death Knight now up to level 3. Shadowhunter still with those healing waves bouncing around as the berserkers need to take down some of those other frontline units. Kodo Beast about to get taken down. He does get taken down. Well, as we're looking at the Shadowhunter trying to get in position once more. Tauren Chieftain now coming back around. Are we going to see a stomp across all those backline units? We are, taking down some of the Forest Troll Berserkers and the other Berserkers as well. Forest Troll Shadow Priest quickly gets taken out here as we see an ensnare going down on the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain looked like he was about to get away, but instead gets a Stormbolt in the head and gets taken out once more. Archmage with level 2 Brilliance Aura definitely helping out. Cechi trying to, well, replicate it with a better version of Brilliance Aura in Obsidian Statues, providing mana and hit points, but that one only providing hit points for now. Arma looking to back away. Deathcoil trying to take down one of Arma's Raiders. Raider able to double back around and regroup. Priests need to do quite a bit of healing. Mountain King very low on hit points. And, well, needs to defend this location here. Arma is in some serious trouble. 37 over 51 supply, and HawK sitting at 48 over 62 compared to 48 and 37. Army sizes are about the same, but Arma's losing a lot of production as the skeletal minions, mass skeletal minions, are just causing so much traffic out here on the battlefield. A stomp slowing things up just a little bit. Mountain King trying to play a little bit of that distance game. Gets a Stormbolt off onto the Lich, but the Lich also gets a level up as the Tauren Chieftain falls at level 3. There goes the Lich there. Mountain King now sitting at level 2. Units might try to back away. Heroes are falling on both sides. Stormbolt onto the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger gets a chain lightning after a healing wave, and the Dark Ranger falls at level 3 as well. Damage is still racking up here. Devour Magic eating up some of those water elemental health points. Water elemental health points, and backing up again. Now remember, HawK has had this expo off at the 6 o'clock position, so he's been in a fairly decent spot in terms of economy. Starbuck is trying to make up similar ground right now as we are at 41 supply and 43 supply. The southern team, Cechi and Starbuck, both at tier 3. Meanwhile, HawK still sitting at tier 2 at keep in his main base. More Berserker poking, finishing off these units here. Shadowhunter gets to level 3. Tauren Chieftain trying to inch closer to level 4. Not going to be able to get there as more creep camps are still getting cleared out. Wind Riders out on the battlefield. Barracks getting added to the battlefield as well. Do we have Envenom Spears? That is the question. With Envenom Spears, the Wind Riders really are able to deal a lot more damage over time. Coming into battle here, there's some more damage. Tracker going to get taken down. Furboy going to get taken down. Mountain King hoping to get to level 3. Could try and pick up a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability as well, as there's just not enough experience to go around again. Alright, it looked like that was a quick and easy unit to take out. Tauren Chieftain is at 3. Farseer is at 4. Shadowhunter is at level 2. Kodo Beast not chomping in on anything as Skeletal Warriors now looking to move on inside the main base. Alright. Are we going to go into an engagement? Farseer, Scroll of Speed, coming back around, a little bit of damage. Torrent Chieftain is invisible, gets up to level 4, but well, wants to get a stomp, but simply sees too many Spellbreakers. The sudden transition into Spellbreaker is a very big deal, as the Torrent Chieftain now has limited places to deal damage. In comes a stomp, but for all of his effort, he's not going to really be able to do all that much, as the Shadow Hunter uses a healing wave and bounces around. Blizzard coming across from Archmage, from HawK, looking to finish off more of these units. Stormbolt bash onto the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger able to get away at 34 hit points. Death Knight out of mana, unable to save. All right, more Blizzard raining on down here. Archmage sitting at level 4. Well, looking to finish off, perhaps create spaces, as the Torrent Chieftain of Arma able to launch in another beautiful stomp again. If only the stomps and the Blizzard from the Archmage were actually working together, would we see a very strong use there. Remember, this is level 3 Blizzard, so that damage is rather high, as the units are now trying to double back around the other way. Okay, Torrent Chieftain escaping away. Farseer sitting at level 3. Are we going to see a stomp? There's a stomp. Farseer is in trouble, and down it goes. Arma and HawK taking down the Farseer of Starbuck, as the units are retreating back again. Starbuck trying to head back off to the north. Not quite sure where he can really retreat back to. Perhaps trying to get around this shop. Some low hit point units. That was a quick deny, as the Farseer unable to get through or over those trees easily. We're going to be going into a next engagement now, but Cechi and Starbuck is definitely up against the walls. The economic advantage of the Archmage having that, or the human army having that early expo, really starting to take its toll. Meanwhile, the Archmage now with still only level 2 Brilliance Aura, perhaps level 3 would have been the better call, as you rarely run out of mana when you are at level 3. That additional Blizzard just constantly raining down. Scroll of Protection right there. Archmage, that Blizzard does last 2 additional waves and does more damage per second, so difficult to tell, but other heroes would have had more mana as well. Both sides still fighting their way through. Archmage looking to, well, perhaps drop in a Blizzard right there across all of those units. It looks, well, nope, that Berserker able to dodge that damage just a little bit, as both sides are still fighting. Destroyers are in position, wanting to dive on in onto all of those Berserkers and finish them off, and then allow them to go after the heroes. Both sides are fighting. In comes some more Blizzard raining down on the Destroyers again and again. And here we are, Torrent Chieftain now being forced to back up once more with silence. Torrent Chieftain wants to put his foot down, will be able to put his foot down here, but no, I believe he doesn't do it. Kodo is getting taken down, level 4 now on the Torrent Chieftain, as Armas and, well, HawK continuing their push forward. There goes a big stomp onto a Lich, another stomp there, and that is going to be the game. Starbuck and Cechi need to leave. Arma and HawK are your victors. A clean win for HawK and Arma. That economic advantage, that extra 5,000 gold mined even after 2,000 gold in upkeep, making a drastic difference overall. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.